Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Morning Woods podcast. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, go down to the bottom, like, subscribe to this podcast. It helps me get in the algorithm. It helps me more than you know. You help me by watching this. You're the best. Thank you for being here. This is a great show already. I'm already having a good vibe right here because I have a good friend of mine in the studio today. You guys know him. You love him. He's a stand-up comedian. He's the newly founded owner of Brickys Comedy Club, and we have him here with us today, Mr. Kevin Rupert. What's up, my man?
Hey, thanks, dude.
Hey, man, give yourself a round of applause, Kevin.
Okay, all right, I'll do that.
Don't you dare let me die out here like that.
Me.
You don't leave a man behind. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there. How you been, Johnny?
I've been better than ever, man. I can't even lie to you. I was plateauing there for a while, but it feels like things are picking up, man, and I'm feeling really good about everything. So how about
That's
you,
awesome.
my man?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, busy a little bit, but I mean, overall, I feel like things are kind of sorting themselves out, and
yes.
Got some things in the works that I'm kind of excited about, and really can't complain too much.
Okay, well, what I want to talk to you about today is, first of all, we have a show this Friday, so you guys come out to see us this Friday. It's Brickys' first open mic showcase. It's a booked open mic.
Yep.
So you actually book these 5-minute spots, and I'm excited for this. This is the first time that you've had a whole bunch of people on stage back to back at Brickys. It's not just a traditional show.
Yep.
It's a little bit more of what you would see where guys are going to run new bits and kind of try stuff out. So as a comedian, I appreciate another place where I can get on stage and have that stage time and have that freedom.
Yeah.
And so to stretch my legs. So that's really cool. If you want to tell us and tell the people what they can expect at Brickys in the future, and also what just your idea behind running your own mic on top of the shows, and I just want to know what you have cooking in general.
Yeah, it's a great question, man. I mean, with the Friday night mic, I feel like it's going to present an opportunity for comedians who are on the newer side to get some experience, and then hopefully get prepared to perform on the Saturday shows and some of the other shows that we have kind of in the works. So that was the main reason for starting the open mic and adding that to the list of shows that we're doing, just to create that pipeline for younger comedians to transition and go from being an open micer to being a host to being a feature, and then eventually a headliner. So that's the main intention of the Friday night mic. So it's going to be a lot of really great local, new up and coming comics, and I think it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited. I appreciate the opportunity for you having me on stage there, and I can't wait for it, man. I've been telling people about it. I think I do have a few friends coming. So if you guys are watching this now, make sure you definitely check out that show and then Brickys' upcoming shows. But what's been up with you, man? I know that you're behind the scenes of this Brickys Comedy Club, and you've been putting a lot into this. But as far as your comedy career, are you still booking shows? Are you making an attempt to do that? Or are you just taking things as they come? What's going on with Kevin Rupert's comedy career right now?
Yeah, thanks, dude. I mean, at this point, I'm still performing. I'm still doing shows here and there. I'd say I probably do 1 or 2 shows a week. But I have kind of stepped away from that a little bit in order to focus as much energy as possible on Brickys, because I feel like that's the best way that I can make a contribution to, not just the Dayton scene, but just Southwestern Ohio and in general from a comedy perspective. Creating another venue where people can get experience and we can build an audience for comedy. So yeah, I mean, I'm still looking to book shows. I'm doing them whenever I can, and then the rest of the time I'm just focusing on Brickys.
Yeah. So that seems to be your main goal right now, is just getting this club to the point where it's sort of running itself, and then you can kind of, put your hands in some other places, apparently. You got some plans, some other plans for the future of the comedy scene. And yeah, dude, I love that. I love seeing Dayton comedy blow up, and you were definitely contributing to the scene, man. We've been friends for a while. I think we started, pretty close to the same time, 4 or 5 years ago now. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, so it's nice to see where we're both kind of getting this trajectory and finding our place in the scene, and sort of becoming the showrunners and becoming the kind of the adults around here in a weird way.
Yeah,
you
man.
know, we're like the mid-level guys now.
It's hard to believe. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I remember I met you at the comics hang they used to have before Sunday Comics at Wiley's.
Yeah, dude.
And man, we were just trying to get on the Sunday night show.
Trying to impress Don.
Yeah.
We were trying to get spots on his podcast back then.
That's right. Yeah.
Don Smith, shout out. For people who don't know, we're talking about Don Smith. He used to be a co-owner of Wiley's, and he had a podcast on the Right State Radio that he would bring us on sometimes.
Yep.
I felt so cool, too. When I used to go,
did too.
I was like, dude, this is it. I was like, dude, the owner of the club had me on his radio show.
I know. It felt like a big deal, you know?
I'll tell people, I was like, he owns the spot. This motherfucker had me in Right State. It's in the building. It's official.
That's right.
People were like, dude, I got Spotify. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. No, those were fun times, man, just a few years ago, you know?
Yes.
But yeah, I always enjoyed going on his radio show, and I mean, yeah, it's great to see Wiley's doing as well as it is as well.
God,
I mean,
yes.
it's crazy. I mean, going back to what you said a few minutes ago, like, I mean, Wiley's is doing great. Funny Bone is always doing its thing.
Yeah, they're gonna have headliners coming no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's all kinds of great bar shows and like open mics popping up. So yeah, it's a really special time for the Dayton comedy scene.
Yeah.
And we're on the precipice of like a massive explosion for Dayton comedy.
That's what I feel like.
Which is kind of exciting.
That's what I feel like too, dude. It really seems like. Because you see stuff sometimes sort of happen here and there, and you'll see, like, over the years, we've seen little shows here and little things here, but there's just, like, a feeling in the air.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it seems like also all the Dayton and kind of, like, greater Dayton guys and girls who are going out in these other cities and these other markets, we're getting respect and then also getting asked to come back to these markets. So that feels good too. It also feels like people actually are starting to kind of talk about what we're doing over here, which in turn makes us want to work harder and makes us want to build the buzz in between the lull. Like, you know, we can't do Wiley's every weekend. We can't do Caravan. We can't do the Louisville Comedy Club. We're not going to be able to do these shows every single month even. It's like a quarterly or sometimes yearly if you're lucky. So we just trying to make our rounds and get to all these places can be a difficult, long-term, drawn-out journey. So having this media in between and these clubs in our hometown are the most important thing that I can think of to share the art and the, you know, like, not just what we know about it, but like also a chance to like just like fucking help people laugh and not be bored. You know, it's like important. Man. It's all important. I feel like I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but I feel like everything that everyone in Dayton is doing for comedy right now is important and is going to birth something that we don't even understand. Right? There's going to be people that come up under all of us. They're going to see the things that we're doing. They're going to be even greater than us, and hopefully we can facilitate that.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's interesting to see how everybody is kind of like occupying like different niches in like a complementary way, and people are kind of playing to their core competencies, which is like what you want to see, you know, within a comedy scene. And so, yeah, everybody is kind of like playing a particular part, and it's creating something special, I think.
Yeah, me too, dude. It's so cool to be a part of it right now. And a couple years we're going to look back and it's really going to be hitting home, and we're all going to be very successful. I just feel it, man. I feel that everybody in this scene that's working now, it's for a reason, and we're going to continue to be the working comics in this region. So, yeah, shout out to everybody. You know who you are. And you know who you are if you're listening, and we know that you're listening. But yeah, dude, on a personal level, what's been up with you? And I don't know how long we're going either. We're just going to freestyle it.
Yeah,
but I
sure.
know that we usually have 30. So I can't see the time on your camera because I'm nearsighted, but can you see the time on mine by chance?
Oh, I wish I could, man.
Dude,
let me.
I'm
gonna whip out the glasses here.
You know what? A strong jawline and beautiful eyes do not warrant good vision. Okay,
You're too kind, man. 10 minutes. We're like 10 minutes even.
Okay, so we got another 10, 20 minutes. All right, I just want to throw that out there just so we know. Just so listeners at home know, this is such a great show. It's a big value production, and we got a lot of assistants behind the scenes, but unfortunately, they're all dead. You will be too if you don't finish this episode. No, threaten my viewers. Just.
I feel like it's a winning formula.
Oh, it's going off the rails. My dog's barking. My kids have to pee. But yeah, man, I'm excited for the future of Dayton comedy, and also just for the stuff we have going on right now. Sometimes I get too caught up in the future and all that jazz, and then I forget to have fun. And then when you forget to have fun, dude, you're just doing shows. Yeah. You're just you're just going through the motions. And for comedy, that's never the attitude you want to have. You don't just want to dial it in. Yeah. People notice, and people are not going to ask you back. And you're going to, other people that you respect are going to lose respect for you because you're not being true to the craft. So at the end of the day, I think that's something we have to we have to be true to comedy, man, because it's a gift. It's a gift, and it gives to all of us. So
yeah, I don't disagree with you, man. That makes a lot of sense. And there's something to be said for kind of like being in the moment. You know, when you're doing stuff related to comedy and just appreciating the opportunity to do it. You know, even shows at like bars and wineries and places that aren't like the biggest venues in the world, but it's like a packed house and someone's paying you to do stand up. I mean, I wouldn't have imagined getting even that opportunity when I started. I imagine, would you have foreseen that at all? Or
never, dude. And speaking of wineries, let me tell you a story, because you know this. I actually heard you tell your story about this place on the Unc and Nephew podcast. Shout out to Unc and Nephew, Ray and Jarrell. Dude, I stayed on a haunted island that you sent me to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, sorry, man. Yeah.
Dude, I felt like if I would have had drone footage of this place, like that would have made my video. I did a video vlog while I was there. It was really one of my most successful videos on my YouTube channel. Shout out to you guys who like the vlogs. I have ADD. It's just shout outs 24/7. Shout out to
Nothing wrong with that.
Shout out to everyone. But so with John Morris and I take this show from you, which I don't know who canceled. Shout out to who canceled.
So weird story, man. I was supposed to. I think I was going to go up there with John. I think that was the original plan.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting a stomach parasite from Subway. Like I ate a Subway sandwich, and it was a literally like I got like a parasite that grew in my belly button.
Oh my god!
From Subway tuna, and so I
like
went
the movie
to the
Alien.
Yeah, it was a lot like that. Yeah. And I had to go to the emergency room, and I thought it was like a epigastric hernia. Like I thought basically a muscle had just kind of like popped out, and they were going to prescribe me some pain medication, schedule a surgery, and all that stuff. And they did some imaging, and they were like, "Yeah, you have like some sort of weird like parasite in your stomach." And so then they had to give me antibiotics, and so I was out of commission for a few days. Wow. And the last place where you want to be stuck if you have something like that is on an island, where they don't even have a hospital. I had talked to John, and he was like, I'm still cool with going up, so let's find someone else to fill in. And so, unfortunately, man, you were the guy, and you had to take a spider to the face.
Dude, I took a big spider, dude. I would have rather, you had a bug in your stomach, and I had a bug on my face. So I think either way, somebody, the CIA was involved. Either way, we were being bugged. I think so. So the long story short, to make it, we could actually tell the whole story because this is the podcast and this is the story that we're bringing you guys today. So I'm on this haunted freaking. First of all, the journey getting there is actually quite beautiful. It's a long drive to Sandusky, which it's near Sandusky. It's in Lake Erie.
It's like Port Clinton is Port where Clinton. You get on the ferry at.
Okay, so we drive to Port Clinton, Ohio. It's about a 3.5 hour drive, something along those lines. It's a very nice day. John and I have a peaceful drive along the water. and then we actually have a great ferry ride. It's a beautiful day, like I said, so we're enjoying this boat ride. Everything's going good until we get to the island, and it's just like a weird like vibe. It's just something is off about this place, man.
It's a very bizarre place.
You feel it as soon as you step off the boat, right?
Yeah, did I tell you the backstory of that? Like, well, I mean, how I got the gig is a little bit weird, but just generally the backstory of that entire venue.
No, but I do know some of the backstory about the whole island because I took a tour of the winery. Yeah. I was underground. And like, yeah. Did you went under there too? And
I don't think I got to take a tour, but so the speakeasy that you guys performed in.
Yes.
I opened performed there with the Midwest Comedy Tour a couple months before that, and that was the first time they ever opened it to the public. So I thought it was really cool that like essentially our comedy shows opened that speakeasy. Wow. And yeah, it's a really neat place. But there was actually a part of the reason why the venue went away for a while, Lawns Winery, is because part of the original building collapsed back in like 2001 or something like that, and killed a couple of people, and they had to do like a big Coast Guard rescue and all this stuff. And so the Lawns Winery shut down until like 2017. And the woman who owns it just recently started, trying to do live events so she can get people coming back to it.
Yeah.
And it's a really bizarre place, man.
So
and
for
there's
like
all
20
kinds of
years, it was
backstory.
just like desolate.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think they still had tourists coming to the island, but I think that Lawns was shut down. So it was probably a lot less than what it had been previously.
Yeah, man. It was weird. When we went there, as soon as you step off, there's a weird vibe, man. And there was something in the air, and you couldn't quite pinpoint what it was, but it was just like a sick feeling. You just felt just overcome with like sickness. Just it was sadness, bro, in the air. And actually, the winery is right near the dock where you board and offboard the ships, so you could see it right away. And I also understand that it was some sort of place where they kept people at one point, and then also where they kept alcohol during Prohibition. So the island itself was a stowaway for slaves during the Underground Railroad, apparently.
Yep.
Which you had a little bit of an encounter with one of the old houses on the property. Do you want to talk about that?
I'm glad you went that. I thought you were going to say I had an encounter with a slave or something. I was like, what the fuck? No.
In your previous life, apparently.
I was like, damn. No, but so who did I have an encounter with? I'm sorry.
So you had an encounter with, you had to stay in one of these old plantation houses, right?
Yeah. So Ray Jackson and I stayed in the oldest house on the island.
Yeah.
Which is also pretty haunted.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. A lot of spirits roaming around that area for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot that's kind of creepy and bizarre about that place. But yeah, that house, man. So we got there, and I think that I was telling Ray this the last time. I can't recall for sure, but we got there, and the guy told us, he was like, "There's only one bedroom that can actually be utilized by one of you guys because we've got a bunch of like construction and work going on for the other rooms." And so Ray takes the bedroom, and the dude was like, "And you can sleep on the couch, and then I'll sleep in the armchair." And I was like, "So we're sleeping in the same room?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's the plan, So then I get back to the house after the show, and he's camped out on the couch. So I'm like, either this guy is like trying to spoon with me, or he wants me to take the armchair.
Yeah.
So I ended up just like finding another room, and I slept on this like weird like 18th century couch with like all these like strange paintings and like ancient artifacts, like keeping me up. It was pretty strange,
dude. And, that sounds creepy as hell, dude. Like a museum. You were like in a relic, basically.
Yeah.
Like a standing brick and mortar relic of like the past century.
Essentially. And then when I came back the following month to do the next show with the Midwest Comedy Tour, there was another lady who was kind of serving as like a part-time caretaker who was assisting the original guy. And when we got there, I was like, yeah, so there's only one bedroom, right? So like Austin and Becky will have to take that room and I'll take the couch or something. She was like, no, we got tons of bedrooms.
Oh my God,
and I was like,
oh my God, dude, they
yeah.
have tons of bedrooms.
Yeah.
And this guy was trying to get you to sleep in the same room as him.
So I was like, but they were under construction last month, right? And she was like, no, they've always been fully operational.
They're like, dude, you can't even do construction on this house because it's actually against the code. Because
that could be part of it.
It's a historic house, dude.
Oh man, it was nuts.
Oh man, that's so rich.
So you guys, when you went up, I feel bad because that was actually the first one where it wasn't pretty well attended.
Yeah, there were only like 12 or 15 people in the audience, and this girl in the front row was talking, and she had her back to us the entire time.
Oh man!
But what sucked was she was a big party, and everyone else in her group was like 8 other people. They were paying attention, and we were having a good shows. But every time she would step on a punchline, she stepped on like the first 10 minutes of my set. And so by that point, I was so fed up that I just started like trying to riff with her, and her friends were like, "Leave her alone," and they kind of took her and like rescued her out of the room, and like half the room left with this group while I'm like on stage. They're like, "So sorry, you were great. We wanted to stay, but she's drunk." And yeah, so like walked them, and then so more people actually did come and fill those seats as John was going up. So he had a little bit of there might have been like 20 or 25 as he finally got up. I think I did like 15 or 20 minutes, and it was hell. And I just had a rough set because we had traveled all day, dude. And I felt the ghost. I felt the ghost of the people who fell under the rubble, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I could feel it. Dude.
There is like a palpable feeling there where you get a little bit of an odd vibe.
Yeah,
for sure.
Dude. And it's more than that. It's almost as if like that was just there were precursors to that stuff too, and that's probably just where that energy gets built up after a while, and it just takes more people with it. I don't know. Yeah,
I didn't know about the history of there being slavery involvement with the island or anything like that.
Apparently
I had no idea.
Like at one point, it was also a bootlegger island too during the Prohibition days.
Okay,
so like they stowed wine and liquor from Canada, and then they would hold it under the winery, and who knows what else they were doing,
definitely.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, well, thanks for going up there, and so
it was fun, dude.
Did you tell everybody about the spider part first?
Okay, yeah. So that's a good point. So actually, I did not stay in an old creepy house. We actually had a very humble abode. John and I had our own private Airbnb that one of the ladies who was friends with the owner of Lawns actually had lent us. So they gave us our own car, which is a really old beater car. It was covered in spider webs, but that's not the point. And it also didn't have any gas.
Did it still have the Natty Light beer can?
100%.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Old cigarettes from like 3 years prior and empty Natty Light cans. And so we drive this beater around the island, but to our nice little hotel, or like it was like it was like a bungalow, right, or something like that. Yeah. Very well like furnished. So I was happy to be there. It was right on the water, and the show went off, and we were chilling at the end of the night. Went to sleep. Everything was cool, and I was like, I'm just over this, and I want to go to sleep. And right as I hit the lights and I lay down in bed, dude, I felt something crawl over my leg. But I was like, there's no way. There's nothing in here with me. And something in my head was like, it could have been a rat. Like, that's how big.
Like, a fucking huge spider.
It was like it like thudded when it ran over me. And I was like, there might be a mouse in my bed. So I didn't think anything of it. I was so freaking tired. I jerk off. And I roll. No. So
you should have came in the spider's face.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he was so mad. He saw me coming from 8 eyes. Wouldn't that be crazy, dude? Could you imagine being a spider and getting a money shot in your face, dude?
That's not ideal.
This is a social media clip. This is very good stuff. Dude, could you imagine being a spider porn star, like a girl spider porn star? She's like
You just
gripping you
invented
with
like a brand new genre on
just
Pornhub.
gripping you with 8 legs, my dude. Oh man, that's incredible.
Oh God.
Anyway, so I'm sleeping, and the next thing you know, dude, this thing wakes me up because it fucking crawls across my face. It crawls from ear to forehead, and then over off my pillow. Where I got cold chills thinking about it. And this spider, it's on video, so I'm not lying. It had to be like 5 inches, 6 inches in diameter. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like almost the size of a small saucer plate that you would serve like a breakfast scone on or something. So it crawls across me, dude. I immediately leap out of bed and I wake up John Morris. It's 3:00 in the morning. And I'll be honest, at first he was a little pissed off and
Sure.
like kind of unsupportive, but then after a second he like jumped into white knight mode and he was like, where's the spider at? He was like, dude, where is dude? And John murdered the spider and saved the day. So shout out to Johnny Money, J Money Morris, J Money John Morris. Shout out to him. So,
Yeah, he does come off as pretty heroic in that video. It was a good look
he
for him.
saved my life.
That's awesome.
I don't know if that thing was poisonous or what. It could have been a freaking a recluse.
Yeah, man.
Or whatever, dude. I've been
Might have been.
depressed. I know that I get poisonous and toxic when I'm depressed.
Sure.
When I'm a recluse, I could hurt someone, dude.
You think there's a connection there? Maybe that's why they're poisonous?
Yeah, dude. There's holding all that stuff in.
Yeah.
If we can get spiders in therapy, we could probably save a lot of people from poisonous spider bites every year.
Yeah. They do.
Statistically.
Brown recluses do isolate a lot.
I would say so, dude.
Like they don't get a lot of social interaction.
That's what I'm saying.
I would imagine.
I would say that the community programs in the brown recluse neighborhoods aren't as active as they need to be.
Yeah. This is a really important issue. I think
so
it needs
too.
to be addressed.
I think so too. And what else needs to be addressed is the fact that you guys should come to Brickys Comedy Club this Friday. You guys can see me. You can see the man himself, Kevin Rupert. We have a great lineup for you guys. We do appreciate you guys for watching this show today. And you guys can catch Kevin online. Go ahead and shout out your social media, my man.
Yeah, sure. Brickys Comedy at Gmail if you ever want to sign up for the Brickys Friday Night Mic. Kevin Rupert Comedy on Instagram, and then KRupert89 on Twitter.
And do you have any other upcoming shows or anything you'd like to shout out before we close out today?
24th and 25th. 24th will be the debut of the Brickys Friday Night Mic, and then the 25th we've got Kyle Kemper. And should be some solid shows.
Kyle Kemper is a solid comedian. I love that guy. You guys come see Kevin, come see Kyle this weekend at Brickys Comedy Club. Thank you guys.